So, what do I think of the Vivid-Pix Restore software? Well, to begin, let's go ahead and look at the GUI or the interface. Um, Pretty simple at the beginning. Select an image. Okay. Select your image, open it up. So this image is from pretty bad film. It was sent to a place that is supposed to rescue film, which they did. They developed it. They were able to get some sort of picture off of it. But as you can see here, the software doesn't really restore pictures. It doesn't fix really anything as far as image fidelity. So if you look here, let's just pick, a pretty similar looking picture here. As you can see, it does seem to bump out a little bit of like contrast to make things pop a little bit more. But at the same time, like this whole background here, completely washed out. Um, and if you go in and you change the contrast down to a reasonable level, it almost just kind of it ruins the picture more than it ever did any good for it. And then when you bring the lightness up and down, if you bring it down and turn the contrast down, you're losing so much image quality by actually running it through this. Um, So it basically it sharpens up the picture a little bit, but you lose a lot of that quality that makes film good. And then you get this really harsh vignetting, or like the opposite of a vignette, it's like white vignette. Um, and other than that though, the controls are very poorly explained. They're very non-intuitive. Like rotate, yeah, you rotate a picture, that's pretty easy to understand. And it did do a good job of, rotating the picture properly. Um, lightness, contrast, just about everybody should know about that. Um, the colors don't really matter because we're messing with a black and white picture. Um, and then vividness, yeah, it does. Once you mouse over it, it says this is saturation essentially. Vividness, I don't, it's stupid. That's just a gimmick because it's Vivid-Pix. Um, Output subdirectory. The only one redeeming quality is that when you output a picture, it'll save the original picture. It'll keep that, and it'll save a new file, so you can still have both if you don't like what you did. And another good thing is you can open multiple images at a time. I didn't do it here because I didn't even need to do more than one picture to really see how I felt about this because I've watched videos on it and I understand how it works for color images. But what I wanted to see if it would actually restore image quality, image fidelity, and it really does not. There's no, and I really didn't expect it to, because for all intents and purposes, this is really just a color fixing program. It's basically Adobe Lightroom for kindergartners. Um, and a lot of this stuff, it's not very intuitive. Yeah, you can pick black and white color mode, and then you can kind of slide these and it won't actually change the hue. It'll change like the different levels a little bit, but it's all things that can be achieved with your contrast and saturation and you know, the brightness of the picture. Other than that, when you have a color picture, some of the older film cameras when you had a flash in a dark room, you'd get like that weird magenta tint or you'd get like off yellows and things like that. It does a good job of that. I don't need to show it doing that. I can tell you that it does a good job of that. I honestly don't have a picture to use that would be a good enough example on my computer right now, and I could Google one, um, but I haven't done that, and it would just waste time in this video, which is already long enough. So that being said, for the price point of $50, maybe if I got all three softwares, it would be worth $50. Um, do I think it would be something worth offering in a storefront? Um, I think the only way that I would actually purchase this would be if it was in a store because I wouldn't really hear of it any other way. If I look up how to color correct or how to restore an image on the internet, it's going to be Photoshop. It's going to be, other programs that do this better than this does. It's crayons versus expensive colored pencils. Um, Not trying to hate on the software that much, but it does what it's meant to do well. I think the name Restore is not the best name for it. Recolor would be a good name for it. Um, or Reimagine, something that's not Restore, because that almost makes it seem like it's going to fix uh, these kinds of things that people think about when they think of film photography. These are the mistakes that people think about when you hear restoration, saving film, things like that. So, yeah, I think I've rambled on enough and repeated plenty of things. So that's my review of this software, my 100% honest review of this software. Thank you.